The bright morning sun poured through the wide glass doors of Mason Ridge Auto Garage, casting long shadows across polished concrete floors where classic muscle cars gleamed like priceless works of art. Customers admired the craftsmanship that had made the garage one of the most respected businesses in the city. But in less than 5 terrifying minutes, flashing police lights, raised weapons, and false accusations turned that peaceful morning into a nightmare that no one inside would ever forget. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, justice, and second chances still matter in this world, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Beyond the Verdict. Your support helps us bring powerful stories that remind us why integrity always matters. Malik Preston had spent nearly 15 years building Mason Ridge Auto Garage from an abandoned warehouse into a thriving business that employed dozens of local workers. Every restored engine represented hope. Every repaired vehicle represented another family getting back on the road. People respected Malik because he never forgot where he came from. He quietly donated money to struggling veterans, offered free repairs to single parents, and hired young men who deserved a second chance after difficult mistakes. Very few people knew anything about the quiet years before he became a businessman because Malik rarely spoke about his past. He preferred helping people instead of talking about himself. That peaceful morning changed when 2 police cruisers screeched into the parking lot with lights flashing. Officers stormed into the garage with overwhelming force. Customers froze while mechanics dropped their tools. One officer pointed his weapon directly at Malik while another aggressively searched the office without presenting a warrant. Workers watched in complete disbelief as lockers were opened, drawers emptied, and thousands of dollars in business cash prepared for payroll were stuffed into police evidence bags. Malik remained remarkably calm despite the humiliation. His employees begged the officers to explain what was happening, but nobody received an answer. Phones were taken away, security cameras were disconnected, and everyone was ordered to remain silent. The officers claimed they were investigating stolen property and possible money laundering, yet no evidence was ever shown. To every person standing inside that garage, it looked less like an investigation and more like a robbery committed under the protection of a badge. The humiliation grew worse as customers recorded everything from outside the building. Rumors spread through the neighborhood within minutes. Social media filled with accusations before anyone even knew the truth. Longtime clients canceled appointments. Friends questioned Malik's character. The business he had spent years creating seemed ready to collapse in a single morning because of suspicion alone. Still, Malik refused to panic. He quietly watched every movement, memorizing every face, every badge number, every careless mistake. His calm expression confused the officers, who expected fear or anger. Instead, they saw someone who had experienced pressure far greater than public embarrassment. Years earlier, before becoming a businessman, Malik Preston had lived a completely different life. Hidden behind his quiet smile was a military career known only to a handful of government officials. He had served as one of the most respected Delta Force commanders in highly classified operations across dangerous conflict zones. His leadership had rescued hostages, dismantled terrorist networks, and protected countless innocent lives. Years of impossible missions had taught him that emotions cloud judgment. Discipline, patience, and preparation always won in the end. Retirement had allowed him to leave violence behind forever. He never displayed medals. He never attended public ceremonies. He simply wanted to build something that created life instead of taking risks with it. Yet those old instincts never disappeared. As officers prepared to leave with confiscated cash and expensive automotive parts, Malik quietly activated a secure emergency protocol through a small device hidden beneath his office desk. It was a forgotten safeguard installed years earlier by former military colleagues after repeated requests that he always have a direct emergency contact if corruption or organized threats ever targeted his business. Within 30 minutes, several unmarked federal vehicles entered the parking lot. Calmly dressed investigators stepped inside while local officers suddenly looked nervous. Identification cards flashed. Federal warrants were presented. Surveillance recordings stored on remote backup servers appeared on encrypted tablets. Every second of the raid had been captured despite attempts to disable cameras. The investigators quickly noticed something disturbing. The officers had removed large bundles of cash from business safes before officially documenting evidence. Expensive automotive components had been loaded into police vehicles without inventory records. Procedures had been ignored from the very beginning. As federal investigators questioned everyone present, one senior official recognized Malik immediately. The expression on his face changed from professional curiosity to complete respect. He quietly greeted Malik with the formal acknowledgement reserved for former elite commanders. Several investigators instantly understood who stood before them. The garage owner they believed to be an ordinary businessman had once led some of America's most dangerous special operations. More importantly, he had personally trained several officers now serving in federal tactical units. The corrupt officers suddenly realized they had targeted the worst possible person. Malik possessed extraordinary attention to detail, years of intelligence experience, and friends throughout agencies dedicated to protecting justice. His calmness had never been weakness. It had been confidence born from experience. Over the following weeks, the investigation uncovered a pattern of corruption involving illegal seizures, missing evidence, and repeated abuse of authority. Multiple officers lost their badges. Criminal charges followed. Every dollar taken from Mason Ridge Auto Garage was returned with additional compensation for damages and lost business. But Malik refused revenge. Instead, he reopened his garage with an even greater purpose. Part of the settlement funded scholarships for children of honest police officers and military families. Another portion created apprenticeship programs for young adults searching for meaningful careers. Malik believed that one person's corruption should never define an entire profession. Justice, he often reminded people, means protecting the innocent while holding the guilty accountable. The grand reopening became more than a business celebration. Neighbors, veterans, first responders, and former customers filled the parking lot under bright afternoon skies. They had witnessed how quickly lies could spread, but they also witnessed something far more powerful, the quiet strength of character that refuses to surrender to bitterness. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to comment with the words, "Character always wins." As the sun slowly settled over Mason Ridge Auto Garage, the building stood stronger than ever. Not because its walls had survived hardship, but because the men inside had proven that true strength isn't measured by power, rank, or fear. It is measured by integrity when no one believes you, by patience when everything seems lost, and by choosing compassion even after injustice. If this story inspired you or reminded you that truth eventually finds its way into the light, please like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to Beyond the Verdict. Every act of support helps us continue sharing unforgettable stories that remind us that courage, honor, and kindness can still change the world.